All right, hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We will send the check to you in the mail as soon as we can for watching the program. Oh, we pay our listeners instead of, commercials. Anyway, no, Dave was talking to me a little bit ago. We were talking about there's a university who said something about, there's no safe zones on their campus, I think it was.
Okay, to those that don't know, many universities in America have safe zones where you can be there and nobody can say things to you that you don't want to hear because it'll hurt your feelings.
Be offensive or something.
It'll be offensive. You'll be offended by that.
Yeah. Who's supposed to say what's offensive and what's not? That's where the problem comes in, right?
They'll tell you.
Yeah.
They'll say, they will tell you. And anyway, I heard this story the other day. I was watching Fox and Friends, and I was getting ready for work, and I heard this story about this university that sent out a letter to all the students that, hey, just so you guys know, on this university campus, there are no safe zones. We don't cancel guest speakers because people are offended by them if they're controversial to you and you don't like what they're saying. There is free speech on this campus, and if you don't like it, go somewhere else.
That's great.
Basically, bottom line, like America, kind of like the way God intended.
Have your side.
And then I was floored when that was the tease to the story. I mean, I'm paraphrasing what I heard, of course, but then and I'm getting ready for work, and I'm coming back and forth, and I heard him start to do the story, and I wanted to pay attention, so I got in my chair, and I was watching it. It was Chicago University. And didn't we do that? We did this story already, I think.
No, you were just telling me about it. We didn't
anyway,
record it.
I was like, holy crap, man. Chicago University. That's like freaking Moscow. I mean, that was holy crap.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It made me
that they would.
First of all, I was in love with the fact that anybody was doing it, and then I found out it was in Chicago of all places. And I guess the bottom line to this is, what kind of people are we producing from schools these days? And I want to preface this with saying that I am not blaming these little weenies we're churning out here. And we are. They're little weenie. If we were in World War II again, we'd lose because these people are, I'm sorry, they're pussies, all right? But we made them that way. No, we did. They're taught. We don't keep score at ball games. It's not good to hurt somebody's feelings. And it's not good to hurt somebody's feelings. But you know what? When you're a kid, I'm sorry. It's childhood. You know what? You think I was a skinny, buck-toothed kid that...
I think the word bullies, I think that's been used to kind of push some of these things, too.
What is?
Bullies.
Well, sure.
They talk about bullies.
But that's life. Do you think there's no bullies when you get out of school in real life? You think there's no bullies in real life when you're living your adult life?
And I'll say this.
The only way you can
you
learn how to deal with that is by dealing with it from the start growing up.
Oh, I remember, I was fearful at times of bullies in my life. But one thing I was thinking about, though, it's even gotten to me because, like, if I'm in a public setting or in a park or in a restaurant, I do watch what I say because I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. So that's okay. And, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's good because we care about what other people...
There's a difference between manners.
Right.
And being a pussy. I'm sorry.
No, but so you calling me that a P word?
I don't know. It depends on where you're going with this argument. I'll let you know in a minute.
Well, let's say it's on the LGBT issue, and you're talking about that particular issue. I try to be aware of my surroundings, and I don't want to say something that's going to really. Offend, you know what I'm saying? Because you can say something that could offend somebody in a.
I would never purposely say anything that would be hurtful to somebody else for the sake of doing that. Okay, is that what you're saying?
No, well, no, I'm just saying that when that topic comes up, I think I try to be
I'm
sensitive
saying
to my
this is called
surroundings.
First Amendment. It's in the Constitution. It's the Bill of Rights. Nobody has the right to not be offended.
Right.
If you're a grown up in a free, if you are in a free country, you have to learn. You're going to hear and see stuff you don't like.
I agree.
Learn to deal with, and
but
especially by the time
say
you're college age.
Yeah.
For Christ's sakes, if you're a college age person, if you're 18 to 22 years old, or even depending on how long you go to
you're
school,
not necessarily talking about private conversations per se.
I'm talking about I'm talking about groups.
Groups.
There could be private conversation. It doesn't matter.
Right, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But ultimately, it could be either way.
You don't have the right to not be offended.
Right.
I hear watching the freaking network news offends me every time I have it on.
Well, I would say one of the areas if you could be offended personally is for you is about the issue of smoking. I mean, so many people are like smoking so bad and evil, and you know, you sit there and do it, and it's like.
Well, I'll tell you what, I do it twice as much as I normally would, just to piss people off, and I don't mind paying the extra price. I'm just that kind of. I got that kind of manners.
But I think there's a way to talk about things like that issue per se, like LGBT, where it's still respectful of other people. They may not agree with what you say, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? You're not being a jerk and like spitting on them. You know what I'm saying?
Sir,
with your words.
Apples and oranges.
What? Explain.
You're talking about manners. I'm talking about a college where you're supposed to confront all kinds of ideas, every idea. Right and wrong.
But I'm
doesn't
saying
matter.
just even talking about. You're saying if someone was talking about that issue in a non-supportive manner, they could get in trouble. Okay. If it's not an open, safe zone.
I got a small story.
If there's safe zones, is that right?
There should be no safe zone.
No, but if there's a safe zone in the campus, and I'm talking about that issue or abortion, and you're saying even if I'm being respectful, I could get in trouble, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's scary. That's sad.
That's Nazi-like.
Yeah. So what were you going to say about the other?
Okay, this was years ago. This was like 20-some years ago. Okay, the KKK was coming to town. They were going to be around the courthouse square, and I worked at a place where there were several. There were a couple lesbians and a couple gay dudes, and the gay dudes didn't really care about it, but the lesbians did. And I was friends with this girl. Was a good friend with one of the lesbians. Actually, I kind of dated her at the time too. And they were like all fired up about this. By God, we're going to get everybody. We're going to go and protest these guys and da 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 da. And I'm like, why? Well, do you agree with them? Well, of course I don't agree with them. Of course not. They're evil. They're terrible people. Why would you even want to be involved in that? Well, we're not being involved in it. We're going to protest it. I'm like, hey, they got all the whatever they had to do to be there to speak. It's First Amendment. They got a right to believe whatever they want, if it's wrong or it's right. And what would be the biggest message?
Giving them more power by you being there.
Right? Instead of nobody showing up. Just don't go and tell everybody you know not to. Let them go talk to themselves. But of course they didn't listen to me.
Yeah, but no,
that's
right. They have the right to.
You've got a right, no matter what.
Because if you take their right away, then you're taking. Take your right away.
That's God's law, not man's law. It goes back to that.
Yeah.
We all got a right to do that, especially if you peacefully do it and you assemble and you. Made it right with the local,
Yep.
You got a right to be there. You got a right to say it no matter how wrong it is.
Right.
It's not what's happening to you; it's how you react to it. That's the
geez.
key right there.
Right. Well, and that's another show. But with that being said, taking personal responsibility for our choices, our reactions, our
Absolutely.
is huge. Which I think we live in a time where it's like, we're blaming others. We're done. We're ready to close it up.
All right.
Seriously. So we'll just sign off. You sign off.
Thanks for seeing us, guys. We'll see you later.
Nicely. Don't offend anybody. God bless you.